Good morning, Kitchen Witches. This is your tarot and menu inspiration for the day. My name is Chef Lisa. I am editor and chief of A Chef's Grimoire magazine. And this is what we do in the magazine. We pull tarot cards to help us menu plan. Pretty cool. And the symbolism, the numerology, the underlining meaning of the cards helps us really find interesting meals, right? Brings us into a new way of thinking about how to menu plan and what to menu plan. Work seasonally as best we can. But yeah, so check it out, achefsgrimoire.com. In the meantime, we are pulling a card for today, and that's going to be everything we need to look out for, our inspiration, not only for the day, but for our meals. Ready? All right, this card rarely comes up for me. It is the Five of Pentacles. Now, this is a minor arcana. 5 is the Hierophant in the major arcana. And all of the minor arcana, with the exception of the court cards, have a major arcana that rules them. So 5, the Hierophant, is waiting under this card. And that is, if you think of it, it's very interesting because the Hierophant is depicted as a priest or a clergy person that is speaking or giving their sermon to accolades, or many accolades, but we can only see 2, at their feet, right? So they're giving their wisdom, they're giving their knowledge in an institutional state. These 2 people are depicted outside of what would be the Church of the Hierophant. So they were either turned away, walked away, or their situation came where they weren't accepted anymore, right? So now they're moving on in a way that isn't of their own doing, right? It was like a tower moment. It fell, and now they have to pick up the pieces. And they're understanding that the institutions aren't the answer. So not only are they out in the snow, in the dark, right? Because the stained glass window is illuminated, so there's lights on inside, but it's all dark on the outside, and it's snowing. It's like the worst situation ever. Then one person looks like they have their foot in a bandage, and they're walking with 2 crutches, and the other person looks like they don't even have shoes, and they're in the snow. And all they have is a shawl that's like they're trying to keep it as close wrapped around them as possible to keep them warm. It's not a good situation. So when this minor comes up, it's an indication that maybe there is something going a little south in your life. And with it being pentacle or earthen energy, it could be something that you need to let go of, or have let go of, not because you wanted to. So it could be you've just done your taxes and you realize that you owe. So the money that you thought was safe in the bank, nope, now it goes to Uncle Sam. That kind of sucks. Right. That would be a 5 of Pentacles moment. Or you lose your job, right? It happens, right? And in that, are you going to, sit down in the snow and just cry? Sure, for a minute. But then you're going to get up and you're going to walk, right? You're going to go for something else eventually, right? Because you got to pay the bills. You got to have a job. This is all pentacle stuff that I'm talking about, right? So you need the finances, and institutions aren't going to do it for you because your bank accounts are run dry. Maybe your your school, maybe you have to take a semester off because you can't afford to go for the full time. So these things come up in life. How do we deal with them? Well, with everything in life, this is easy to say and so hard to do, it happens in cycles, right? So there's always going to be a moment where you're feeling like, oh, the world is over. And then it gets better. And then it gets better. And then it gets a little better until you're back on top. Kind of the wheel of fortune type thing, where it's going to spin and round it goes, right? I mean, there's nothing we can do. We can set ourselves up for the best advantages in life, right? Maybe these people didn't put any money aside. Maybe they were living day to day, paycheck to paycheck. But if you can, that dollar a day putting into a bank account that you don't think about accumulates over time. So when you have these moments, you have a little saved, right? It's nothing you miss in the day-to-day action of putting it aside, but when you need it, it's there. So setting yourself up for success. If you haven't done it and you find you're in a Five of Pentacles time, this might provoke you to actually do that for yourself in the future. So, yeah, it's got weight, this card. It is Hierophant energy that is underlining it, and it's a time where we really need to seek out our inner strength, so that we can go forward and not just wallow or put our head down and say, this is it, I'm done. Because you're not, right? You gotta keep moving. And there's two people in this card. There's not one. So this person is trying a little harder because there's another person involved, right? So it could be that you lost your job and you have children to support, or a wife to support, or a husband to support, right? Or a significant other. So that's gonna put a little more fire under you to connect deeper into your earthen energy, come from the core and find what it is that you really love, that you can then start to utilize as the thing that makes you prosperous in whatever shape or form that is. It could be monetarily, it could be just feeding you every day so that you're in a better state. And that's the other way to look at this card, is that yes, they're having a very terrible moment and they're turned away in whatever capacity that means, but they're moving towards something else. What is that something else? Hopefully it's something else that's better than what they're walking away from. And you never know until you have those voids in your life. So a minor arcana that has a lot of weight. So for meals, right? I'm thinking if this is a financial burden, then we're not going to have the luxury of going to the farmer's market and just filling up our basket with the best foods, right? We're going to go for things that are a little more economically sound. So we're going to do what I'm calling depression meals. Meals that were probably very popular in the 1930s, when the stock market crashed, right? Nobody had any money, nobody except the railroad people. But so they loved and had, and is still really a favorite today, biscuits and gravy. It takes pennies to make, right? The most expensive thing is going to be the pork sausage, and I think you can get like 6 links for $6 maybe, right? So yeah, that's the priciest thing. The biscuits, If you want to, you can make a cream biscuit, but the cream is going to be expensive. So just make a regular butter biscuit, right? And you get your butter, you get your flour, get your baking powder. You cut the butter into the flour, baking powder, sea salt, and you massage it in so that the flour is coated with the fat of the butter. And then you add milk or cream, right? And you make it into a dough. From there, you could scoop it with a cookie scoop, or you could roll it out and cut it with a cookie cutter. Make your biscuits, right? And then into the oven they go. Meanwhile, you're making a sausage gravy. And what that is just pan frying some sausage in your saute pan in butter or oil, butter preferable. And then you are going to add some flour and you're going to add milk. And that's going to make the flour and butter is going to be your roux, R-O-U-X, that is going to thicken the milk that turns into like a white gravy. And you're going to take your biscuits hot out of the oven, slice them open, and ladle the sausage gravy over them. Delicious. Delicious. And it'll kind of put a smile on your face in your woe is me time. Lunch. I'm thinking chicken liver pate. So chicken liver is, today it's more of a delicacy, but back way when there was no money coming in, the offal, O-F-F-A-L, the innards of the animal were the cheapest thing to buy in the butcher, at the butcher. So people would go for that. And believe it or not, the most nutritious. Yeah. So chicken breast, great, fine. It's protein. It's protein, protein, protein. But the nourishment comes from the liver, right? So chicken liver pate is, when it's done into a pate, it's very mild tasting because the things that you're putting in to make it that spreadable loveliness really gives it, takes out the gaminess, the metal, it's almost like a metallic aftertaste you get when you eat just liver by itself because it's full of iron. So that said, when you make it into a pate, it's really lovely. So you're going to spread some of that on bread. If it's Wonder Bread, terrific. If it's an artisan sourdough loaf you made yourself, better, right? But spread that chicken liver pate on there. And then take a sliced tomato. If it's summertime, you're eating like a king. If it's not summer, then maybe it's cherry tomatoes, right? That are done in a greenhouse. But you're going to put that over the liver pate, and you're going to put the other side of the sandwich on there, maybe butter your bread, and that is lunch. If you want to, you can serve it with some potato chips. Delicious, really. You should try it. Dinner, oxtail stew. Right. Now, this is something you can put into your crock pot and leave it on all day, and it's super, super delicious. Again, way back, not too far long ago. I mean, I would think really in the early 2000s, you could get oxtails dead cheap. But then the chefs took it over and made it into something that's like, you know, top of the line. So you're going to pay a little more today for oxtails, but they are scrumptious. They're so full of that beefy flavor. So you get a nice package of them, toss them into your crock pot with your beef broth, your onions, your garlic. You could do any kind of seasoning that you wish to make it any cuisine-esque flavors. And look them up online because there's tons. And you make yourself a stew. That's so good. And if you have leftover biscuits, guess what? Have another one with your stew for dinner. Stew. Yeah, it's a depression meal. It's for times when you don't have a lot of money, but you need that nourishment, And something like a stew, you can make lots of, freeze it, and then it's there whenever you need it. So times are tough, but you're going to have a little forethought next time to set yourself up for success when these things do come, right? Because they do. Everybody feels a little pinch now and then. So when that happens, nourish yourself. Nourish all those around you with your kitchen magic. See you tomorrow.